1. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday nights here in Champion Motorsports for the Friday Night Truck Series here on V-Speed 2. Alec, we got you in the booth, and man, it's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. Yeah, no, this is exciting. And yeah, sorry, I had my thing. It was not working for a second. But yeah, hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's coverage here from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's going to be a fun one here as qualifying just about wrapping up so far. Miguel Colon has put it on the pole, trying to extend that points lead. I'm Alec Martinez, obviously, and joining me, of course, is Eddie Smith. And it's been a long 2 weeks, but man, we're back here tonight, race 4. Mid-Ohio, and let me ask you, these guys, they're accustomed to these kinds of courses. They mainly race on road courses, but not with these heavy stock cars or stock trucks. Well, Eddie, I got to ask, what are you expecting here tonight?
Well, I'm expecting some good racing. I think, I think Mid-Ohio puts on a pretty good show in the stock cars, and especially the trucks. The trucks go there in real life, and it's a fun track. So I'm expecting good, hard racing. I mean, we see the times at the top there. Once I get this out of the way, the times are really, really close. So I'm expecting to see some guys really pushing the limits of what the truck can do. And, we talked a little bit before the broadcast started, a 20 incident limit tonight, Alec, and these guys are really going to be pushing that.
They really are. 20 incident limit. For anybody who doesn't know, you could set it to a certain amount of incidents. So going off into the grass is 1. Hitting another truck, if hard enough, can trigger a 4 incidents in one hit. So got to use those wisely. We know that these drivers are not afraid to use the bumpers here, as Miguel Colon, like I said, put it on the pole, 126.338. But this top 5 really, really close, although Colon, absolute heater on the racetrack. But we talk about road courses. This track especially, and as you're looking here on the keyhole, this track absolutely loves to eat up tires, especially the rear tires. The rear tires will definitely overheat at some point. So it's going to be, how can you, the race is going to come down to, how can you control your rear tires? How are you not going to get them too hot, spin them too much? Road courses are always the toughest on tires, especially when it comes to tire management and keeping speed.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have about 2 laps of really good grip on those rear tires and even the front tires. So the first two laps will be really good as they get up to get the tires heated up, and then after that you got about a lap and a half of good tread, and then you're going to be sliding all around the whole race. I think in the way that things are, the way this tire model is, the way this track and truck combo work, I think what you're going to see is guys slipping and sliding no matter how well they protect those tires. So you've got to be extra careful tonight, and even being extremely careful, there's a chance that those rear tires come out from under you, especially if you're trying to battle, make a pass. You're going to have to really be patient about when you decide to make those moves.
That is true. And if you want to pull up that track map again, I think it would be cool. Or even our race facts here. Obviously, this track's opened up in 1962, located in Lexington, Ohio. And we'll call it Mid-Ohio for a reason, right in the smack dab in the middle of the old state. Can fit about 75,000 people, host multiple series here. And like we said, obviously the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the NTT IndyCar Series comes here, as well as the IMSA Racing Sports Car Challenge. They come out here and race those prototypes, and they race those sports cars, the Corvettes. Then you got those LMDHs as well. So this track is accustomed to hosting all motorsports here, and especially we love seeing the stock cars come out here in 2.25 miles. That is a big track. 40 laps doesn't seem like a lot, but here at this racetrack, you're trying a minute and a half lap times, especially at the end of a run. It's long, it's grueling, and we talk about this track. Come down the front stretch where the arrow points, then you'll make that right hand or that left hander going into turn 1. Big curb there, don't want to hit it. You'll come down this short chute, and then the infamous keyhole. That's such a tight corner. You want to hug the curb, but the main thing about the keyhole, you want to get that drive drive off, because look at how long that backstretch is. A little kink in it, and then it's hard on the brakes, down from 4th all the way to 3rd, then down to 2nd, and then into the winding and twisting parts of the S's. Then you go out of turn 9, down to Thunder Valley, another short shoot, and then one more loop to a left, and then a long right-hander, the carousel, and that leads you back onto the front stretch. So it's going to be a long race for these guys. Going to be about keeping it on the racetrack, and then again, how can you save your tires while still going fast, as the gridding will begin, and we'll get our starting lineup pulled up. Only 14 trucks, not as many, but I'm sure nonetheless they will put on a great show, as Miguel Colon wins the pole here tonight with a 1 minute 26.338, and to his outside, Davis Braun in the 24 truck with a 126.5. Then Mark Nister will be starting up in 3rd. Chris Hudson will be rolling off 4th in the 3rd row. You got Jose Ramirez, one of our early racers that's glad to see him back. Had a great run at Texas and might have to show something on the road course here. He'll be rolling off 5th. Thomas Fisher will be rolling off in 6th. Then to row 4, you got Brett Stevens, our last winner, who looked like he dominated the last race, looked like he could have held on. Actually, you know what? I'm right. Brett Stevens did win at Gateway, and he had himself a really good night. And he's going to hopefully go back-to-back here tonight on the road course. And to his outside will be Larry Ford in the 244. And then starting in row number 5, got JT Tammy. Jonathan Taylor Tammy will be rolling off in 9th, and then Anthony James rolling off in 10th.
Yeah, rolling off 11th. It's going to be Mike Tyler, and Jose Carrera going to be in the 12th position. Then David Anderson rolling off in 13th in his Chevy Silverado. And then Jacques Richard is going to bring up the field with a pretty off-the-pace lap time. So obviously had some sort of trouble. Expect to see him come up through the field. But
yeah, is there pace trucks rolling? So I got to ask before we take this green flag, who's your pick tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. We've only seen these guys on the ovals. And so, try to pick somebody based on, qualifying time, I think is a fool's errand. But if I've got to pick anybody, it's going to be the points leader, Miguel Colon, who has just been pretty lights out on the ovals, and he's going to start on the pole tonight. He is the points leader, as we'll take a look at the standings right quick. Miguel Colon with that lead. Kyle Smith not here tonight, so he will be able to extend that lead no matter what. David Anderson there in 3rd place, so he's looking to maybe improve upon that. But green flag is out as they take the green flag. And already,
Jose Ramirez goes around, I think contact from Thomas Fisher, and then 92 spins the 75 around, no harm, no foul. But it looks like the 75 going to lose a ton of track position, and as well as that was the 43, Chris Hudson. Looks like he got loose, hit the curb, and then got into the left rear of Jose Ramirez, but now down the back stretch they'll go. Miguel Colon opens up to about a 7-8 truck length lead over the 24 out. You know what I was going to say? He's my pick. Davis Braun in the 24. I think he's going to maybe have a chance here, but Colon up through into turn number 5, down into turn number 6, and then now into the S's part as well. And look at this great camera work here by Eddie. Look at that. All these trucks going right around and then up underneath the Honda bridge and then into the S's. They'll go into turn 7, up into 8. And then come out of turn 9, and then head down to Thunder Valley. Colon leads them from Braun, Nister, Stevens, and Fisher.
Yeah, we can already see the top 5 or 6 kind of pulled away from the rest of the group, but they're still really tight even after one lap. I tell you, what I'm worried about the most is turn 1. I don't know. They're about to come to it right now. That off-camber left-hand turn is one of the hardest turns I've ever driven on a road course. It is so difficult to do this right here. It's just off-camber. You're trying to keep the speed up so you can get down into the keyhole. And you can see Davis Braun, you have to be careful. It's so easy to light those rear tires up coming out of that turn.
Really is. Some trucks dipping their right side tires up into the grass after that. But I'll tell you what, I want to take a look at a replay of what happened here. So you got a battle with this. The guy I want to take a look at it was Jose Ramirez getting a little contact from Chris Hudson in the 43 as Ramirez gets by the Anthony James in the 260s. Oh, James goes around, spins it out into the gravel trap. He'll be able to keep his foot in and get out of it, I think. But a little bit of an issue there. Doesn't want to get stuck, but he'll roll out back onto the grass. Unfortunately, we'll lose all of that position. But now, I'll tell you what, Ramirez, you can see right there, Hudson gets into the grass, just taps, actually a little decent contact there on the right rear quarter panel. We'll get another replay here. You'll see it, gets off, dips that right rear tire, the RPMs raise, and really nowhere for the 75 to go. Is a decent shot to the left side, driver's left there, the 43 Chris Hudson. But right now, Hudson and Ramirez are slowly working their way up through the field again. As I'll tell you what, Jose Ramirez, Jose Carrera as well. He's up there in the 10th position. They're battling. Yeah, so far getting these guys a little bit more spread out here. As Colon up to a 1.6 second lead. Is he saving his tires? Is the question. Is, man, Ramirez, those rear tires hot from doing that 360.
Yeah, look at that wheel. He was trying to get a nice run off of that corner and took a wide arc there, and the truck just did not like it. You can see how hard he was having to work that wheel on throttle. You see right there again, just so much counter steer trying to keep those things on the pavement, and it's going to be a long race if he's already having to deal with that. So.
Yeah, we but look at how much elevation change there is in the track as they go through the keyhole. And now you got to set up that run down the back stretch, and you'll see he'll get a nice draft of these trucks and punch a big hole in the air. You're going to get a nice slipstream down the straightaway, but then you get all the speed, about 150, 160 miles an hour, and then hard under the brakes, down to, you go from fourth to third, then down to second, and then you go uphill into turn number 5, and then downhill into turn number 6, and then you go uphill again, up into 7 and 8, and then uphill a little bit more into 9, and then a downhill slope down through Thunder Valley. And you can see here, look, uphill into 8, now get that peak into 8, and then off here into 9, down to Thunder Valley. And look at that, look at blind corner. Somebody speeds, you can't see where they're going. You go straight downhill under the PPG bridge, and then you set up for the quick left-hander and the carousel, the long carousel that leads up to the front stretch.
Yeah, in a lot of vehicles, there's not a whole lot of passing zones. I will give stock cars a little bit of credit at the ability to create passing zones. The fact that they have fenders that they don't mind using. This track, very difficult to set up a pass on. But in these trucks with the fenders, give the guy a little bump, get him up out of the groove, and that may be all you need. You see the 75 Jose right on the back bumper of Larry Ford's going to look to the outside here. And Larry Ford gonna try to hold him off.
And Larry Ford, Chris Hudson's already gotten to the 75 early in this race. Almost gets into him again. That keyhole so important to get the drive off. Hudson to driver's right of Jose Ramirez in the 75. Hudson almost gets it over to the grass.
Oh my goodness!
2-for-1 special into turn number 4, but Ramirez hard under the brakes. He has to miss the 244. The 244 gets it into the corner just fine, but misses that apex. And now Ramirez looks down to the quarter panel, almost gets into him. Hudson goes wide up on the 5 and downhill into turn number 6. Tyler Ford, then it goes Ramirez and Hudson. Here, this is the battle from 7th all the way back to 10th. 4 trucks under a blanket here.
Yeah, this is great racing. I love to see this. And no surprise here in Champion Motorsports Friday Night Truck Series. It's been great racing all season long, and you kind of get these guys in their element. These guys are all road course, sort of centric guys, and so you kind of get them in their element. You see the bumper there. There it is.
Oh.
The 44 not happy with. They go around.
Out goes Larry Ford in the 244. I don't think Larry Ford's going to be too happy with that. I don't know if race control is going to be too happy with that either. Ramirez getting aggressive, a little hot under the collar for getting spun out early, and that frustration started to show. Only 5 laps into this race, and he got in the back of 44. I think that was what we could call a straight up dump and run, as Ford now falls outside the top 10 into 11th, and now Ramirez and Hudson are going to go at it for 8th and 9th as Mike Tyler has decided to pull away a little bit, maybe get some space away. And we have those onboard cameras. How about we get an onboard camera of Mike Tyler? See if he's looking down that straightaway, looking in the mirror, and seeing, hey, do I have to worry about Ramirez or Chris Hudson getting behind him? And I'm curious to see the focus. Look at the focus for Mike Tyler. He's left, getting a right, then a left. Road courses require the most focus of any racetrack there is, because you got to be so perfect to get off every run, to utilize every run off of every single corner. Because let me tell you, road courses are the hardest tracks to go on, especially in stock cars where you're sliding around the rear ends, not hooking up to the ground. The front tires aren't hooking up to the ground. You got to be so easy, so perfect to put together just one lap.
Yeah, well, I love to see him leaning into it. That's probably my favorite thing about this.
I love it.
Camera. That's why we have these cameras, to see Mike Tyler just leaning into this. He's trying to pull away, but now he is under fire here. as the 75 is right on his back bumper, and we've seen the 75 not afraid to use it at all.
And here comes Ramirez, run off now down to the front stretch. You look to drivers and left on Mike Tyler into turn 1. Tyler backs out of it wisely.
He'll try the crossover.
Cross him over. Won't work, had to stop. Ramirez parks the bus and gets the drive off. Now here comes Chris Hudson in the 43 truck. Moves to driver's right of the 245, and he'll go right on by. Hudson up into 8th. Ramirez up into 7th. Tyler back down to 9th. David Anderson a few seconds behind them. He's gotten to the 10th position. But I'll tell you what, Chris Hudson and Ramirez both got in that incident early in this race. But I'll tell you what, Hudson has not really let the 75 go. Yeah, he'll peek the driver's right, takes better of it, gets maybe some cool air to the brakes, cool those brakes down into the entry of the corner. But yeah, Hudson's been hounding the 75. Obviously, Ramirez has kind of painted the way for Chris Hudson. But right now, Hudson's still been hounding this 240 or this 75 truck. A little bit of left front damage to the splitter could be affecting the handling, especially being behind him in this tight section of the course. But now Hudson, man, you can see Ramirez so loose on the entry of these corners, a little bit of lower brake bias maybe. But now down to Thunder Valley. Looks like that 75 is struggling for rear grip. We know he's spun, but it seems like the 243, or excuse me, the 443, just a little more grip there. As you can see, goes wide now. He'll try to set him up because it's really, really hard unless you have to use the bumper to get by somebody. Set him up for this front stretch because you got that little kick there off of turn 14, and here comes that run down the front stretch. But it's so crucial to get the power down just in time.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a matter of time before Chris Hudson gets around the 75, but he's just trying to be patient. He's seen the 75, how aggressive he's been. So it's just a little bit of patience needed here. There's still a long way to go, only lap 7 of 40. Looks down to the inside, but Jose Ramirez has been really hard on entry and a little bit of contact here. Trying to get him.
He's trying to get a little physical.
Yeah.
There he goes. Not to run out of the keyhole there. And now they'll be side by side down the backstretch. Chris Hudson to the driver's right of Ramirez. Ramirez gives the spot up, and will he try to cross him over in the braking zone? No, he'll send it harder into the braking zone. Hudson gets ahead into turn number 4. Doesn't look like Ramirez can hold on, loose, but tries the driver's left, won't be able to do it. Hudson gets the position, moves him up to the 7th place, and these guys are turning quicker lap times than the 97 and the 92. Thomas Fisher, JT Tammy have actually got a little battle of their own going on for the top 5. Tammy a little bit faster than Thomas Fisher. And look at Thomas Fisher. Look at that wheel he's using, downshifting, 8th pattern shifter. Downshifting into these corners, but look at how tight that wheel is. It's got to be so easy on it, especially through this part of the course down into the carousel, setting that run up for the front stretch.
Yeah, he's got VR and a screen, which is awesome because we can actually see what he sees a little bit. If we had the power to turn his camera, we turn it over there and look at the screen a little bit. But you can actually see as he turns his head, he's able to look at the apex. That's one thing about VR that is pretty interesting. It's a little bit hard to get used to, but turning your head and looking down at the apex to try to get that truck turned in, it can be, as Thomas Fisher gives a little wave, and just VR very, very cool to be able to do that, especially on road courses. So, yeah, really cool to see. We got the direct drive set up. It's like using an H pattern, which I got to give him a lot of props on that. Yeah, I mean, most guys would use, they would use the paddle shifters, but he's going for realism and using the forward and the floor. I love it.
Yeah, well, if in a GT car, you see those paddles on his wheel, he'd be using that if it were GT cars. And heck,
and he is super loose. Oh my goodness!
Like I said, I applaud him using the H pattern because you know what, that's realistic. It's what the real truck drivers have to deal with, and even the Xfinity cars, you have to deal with H pattern. Obviously, we know the next gen cars are more of a sequential, where it's just the up or down is to downshift, or upshift, and up is to downshift. And so there's so many different disciplines you have to learn in whatever car or truck that you're in, because some are paddle shifters, some are H pattern, some are sequential, and that's what we love about racing, man. There's so many different ways, so many different talents that you have to develop in no matter what car you get into or vehicle you get into. But I'll tell you what, Chris Hudson is running these two down, and I've been noticing Davis Braun is starting to put a little bit better lap times together as this race continues to go on. Braun is kind of caught, he's carved about 2 or 3 tenths off of Miguel Colon's lead, but the question is Colon pushing it too hard, or is he just maybe saving his stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Cologne has been just consistently faster so far in this race. And, you know, he's got a 2-second lead. While that is at a road course, 2 seconds, not that much. So Braun is right there. And so Miguel is not going to be able to just to take his foot off the gas and chill out. He's going to have to drive his guts out. So, you know, it's going to be fun to see how these drivers deal with this. How hard is Davis Braun going to push? I mean, they were very similar in time, and they're definitely setting themselves apart from the rest of the field. Brett Steven is about 8 seconds back from Miguel Colon. So these drivers within about a couple seconds. Right now it's on Davis to be smart and not try to push too hard. He can see Miguel up in front of him and not try to push this truck too hard to save those tires for when he needs them. And as far as Miguel, he just needs to manage the gap. I mean, you know, it doesn't. If you, I don't know if you've heard the philosopher Vin Diesel, but he said whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. So for Miguel, he doesn't have to win by a whole lap. He doesn't have to win by 10 seconds. He just needs to win by 0.0 seconds. That's all he's got to do. So or 0.01. So he needs to just manage the gap, make sure that you know he's taking care of this stuff, and just continue to put down his lap times. He's doing right now.
Sure. And you know what? He's doing a good job. He's putting out some consistent lap times. David Anderson has brought it down to pit road here on lap 10. Interesting to see how that strategy is going to work out, but he has brought it in, looks like fuel only, so that's going to be an interesting stop. I'm not sure how many tires, if they get 3 tires, they still have 2 sets laying in the pits at the moment, so interesting to see here. But the 78 gets some fuel, a gas and go if you so will, and he's out of pit road. But yeah, like you said, managing the gap, very crucial for these road courses, and Miguel Colon's doing just that. So interesting to see. I know Miguel Colon also rocking a new paint scheme as well. I think it's the Doncello machine shop. So that's a new scheme. I know he's had that red, blue, and gray scheme, but this one purple and gray, and got a sponsor on it. So that's always good to see. But this battle, man, this battle's heating up. Chris Hudson's got some good pace in that S2P Ford, and I'll tell you what, he has ran down JT Tammy, Thomas Fisher, and even Mark Nister. He's kind of fallen back a little bit to Thomas Fisher, but this 43 truck, I know he got in that incident on the first lap, but man, if he didn't, I'm curious to see his pace, because he's right on par with Davis Braun and Miguel Colon.
Yeah. Last lap, Miguel Colon ran a 128.6, Chris Hudson a 129.7. So a good bit of difference, but he is in traffic. But he has been able to lap pretty quickly up into this point. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be no cautions on the track. It's going to be one of those things. What if had he not had that issue on lap 1? He's getting a nice run here. He's going to look down to the inside of John Taylor Tammy.
And Tammy backs out of it, lets the 43 go. So now Hudson will set his eyes on the Thomas Fisher. Oh, Fisher wheel hops into the corner, goes wide. That allows the 43. That 92 still wheeling it. And look at this now. Oh, he is sliding around every corner. Tokyo Drift style. I'd love to get his onboard. I want to see how he's wheeling this truck, because he is all over the place. That back end is sliding around here, as you'll see here, going up into turn 8, now up into 9. And now they'll go down into Thunder Valley. But man, that 92 truck, those rear tires are absolutely screaming. And here comes Chris Hudson with the run down to Thunder Valley, up into turn number 10, now into 11. And now they'll set their eyes on turn 12 and 13. As man, Hudson all over the back bumper of the 92 Fisher, let me tell you.
It gave him a little bump there and said, hey, I don't know if you know that I'm here, but I'm trying to get by you here, brother. I mean, it's so tough, because Hudson can see Fisher, how bad he's struggling. And so, you know, if you're Hudson, you want to just go ahead and get around him. But it's so tough. I mean, be honest, Fisher is struggling really bad, but doing a great job of maintaining the track position. Here comes Hudson, going to try the outside.
Hudson to driver's right. Fisher defended he defended into the keyhole. Now, can he get the drive off? That back end slides. Here comes Hudson with the run. Fisher goes to defend. Now Hudson to driver's right of the 92 to the right side quarter panel. Chris Hudson
Gonna be tight.
just getting squeezed up and down into turn number 4. Hard on the brakes goes to the 43 and the 92. Rear tires chirping, and now Hudson tries to cross him over, can. And don't forget about the 97 who's still in this battle, JT Tammy. And how about this? Look who's come onto the scene as well. Jose Ramirez in the 75 right there as well. 4 trucks under a blanket. Hudson with a little more speed, but Fisher doing a heck of a job holding off this 43 truck.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Thomas Fisher right now. He is going to lose this position eventually, but damn if he's not doing an amazing drive. That truck is not driving good at all, but is doing a fantastic job of holding off this hard-charging 43 truck, really making Chris Hudson work for it here.
And we know how much, because Jose Ramirez is also closed onto the back bumper of JT Tammy in and out truck. That 75 truck, that Chevy Silverado, was cut to the back end of these guys. He's 3 seconds back, and now he's there. Hudson all over this 92 truck. 92's trying everything. He's fending for his life here as he gets loose. Now he'll defend into the keel. Oh, Hudson gets down. Oh, no! Fisher gets turned into the keel. He'll save it. What a save by Thomas Fisher. But he'll lose 3 spots out of that from blocking. Hudson wasn't taking any of it. And Ramirez in the Amazon truck able to get by. Tammy loses out on another position. Hudson gets the spot into the top 5, but here comes Ramirez into 6th.
Yeah, that has really allowed Ramirez to catch back up to Hudson. So I wonder, how much did Hudson have to really push to get around that driver of Thomas Fisher in that 92 truck? How much did he have to use up trying to get around him, and how much has Jose been able to save as he's been working his way back up here? But man, hats off to Fisher. Was doing a great job until he decided to basically spin himself across the nose of the 43. But hey, that's hard racing, and when you do something like that and you only hurt yourself, you don't hurt the other guy. I'm good with it. He tried it. It didn't work. He was hoping maybe Chris Hudson would back off a little bit. He doesn't. He goes spinning through the grass, and we keep going. So just hard racing. I love to see it.
Hats off to him. What a great battle there between him and Hudson. A shame that he got the short end of the stick there, but aggressive driving there from Thomas Fisher. But let me tell you, a valiant effort for the Canadian.
Yeah,
and he hasn't lost too much time either. And I'll tell you what, Hudson is starting to pull a little bit more away from Ramirez. But Ramirez, talk about he spun out. So, and same with Hudson. So these guys are trying their best, and you can tell Ramirez is struggling with the grip in those tires right now.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see when people come down pit road to get tires. I mean, we're already almost 3 seconds off the pace from the best lap. So
put it into the pits as well, and I believe Jose Carrera has also brought it in. He got 4 tires, and I'm curious to see what his lap times will be. Currently, Miguel Colon, his best lap was a 27.0. His last lap was a 29.8. So about 2 seconds almost 3 seconds of fall off here.
Trying to see what happened here to the 90.
Goes off track.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know why he had to come down pit road. That's all I have on the session event. So not really sure what happened to him, but he is out of this one now.
He's pulled it in the garage, so an unfortunate night for Jacques Richard in the number 90 truck. But so far, Miguel Colon has pulled a 3.1 second lead over that DuPont Toyota Tundra TRD Pro of Davis Braun, and Brett Stevens sitting all by himself in a cushion of 11 seconds behind Colon, and about 8 seconds, almost 9 seconds ahead of Mark Nister in the 05 truck. But slowly but surely, Chris Hudson, Jose Ramirez are turning a little bit faster lap times in the 05, but right now Miguel Colon on another level.
Yeah, I cannot see what happened to the 90 machine. And I'm going back and trying to find it on the replay, but however, it just looks like at some point it gets slow on the track and lets somebody go and just comes down pit road and calls it quits. So maybe it just felt like he wasn't doing what he was hoping to do tonight, and just called it quits, get his points, and go to the house. So.
indeed,
And,
racing deals.
well, I do know that it's a lot of times tough. We go look at this Jose Ramirez and JT Tommy battle for 6th place, but it is tough, man, when you get into these road course races. And after everything, the dust kind of settles on the start, and everything everybody gets in their groove. You could find yourself alone out there on the track. You could have 15 other guys out there, but never see them again. And you're just out there turning laps. So if you don't love the track and there's nobody to race, it can be pretty easy to just say, you know what, I think I'm going to call it quits.
It could be, and I'll tell you what, though, who's not calling it quits, and that's the 97 of JT Tammy. 97 hasn't really let the 75 go. The 75 hasn't really let Chris Hudson go either. They've kind of traded a few lap times. Ramirez is a little bit slower that last time.
I got a big run here, 97.
And overall, the 97 is going to have to back out of it there. And, Ramirez just sends it a little bit too much. Tammy stabs on the brakes and doesn't get into the back of the 75. I'll tell you what, that 75 is wheeling and dealing as Thomas Fisher has brought it to pit road. I believe he'll be taking 4 tires. And I'll tell you what, though, 25, Jose Carrera, he took tires, and he's turning about a second faster per lap than the leader, Miguel Colon.
Yeah, those tires making a huge difference. You talked about that at the beginning of the race, and that is definitely the case here, as those tires make a huge difference. But I would imagine, at this point, everybody can make it on fuel for one more stop, so might as well. Most people are going to run to the 20 lap mark and then come down and get tires. That way you don't have to go too long.
So. She is on board with the in-and-out Chevy Silverado. JT Tammy still pressuring the 75 Jose Ramirez. Ramirez slides the back end. Oh, did he save it? Oh my goodness, what a drift. Although we're not on a drift course, but man, what a drift. He'll be able to hold the position. Great driving out of the 75 Ramirez.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we've seen this all day. Somebody gets out, is in front. Somebody starts pressuring them from behind, and they start pushing that truck, trying to get as much throttle as they can get out of it, and they push that throttle just a little bit too much, and in that case, just drives it deep into the corner on the brakes, 4-wheel slides it, and just driving so defensively, trying to defend the entry of the corner by driving a little bit deeper so that JT Tommy can't get position on entry. And when you do that on tires as hot as Ramirez's are, it's going to slide. And we're seeing really the 75 just really struggle.
Yeah, Tammy's doing a great job being able to at least put a little bit of pressure on the 75 of Ramirez. Just hasn't been able to find a way to get around him, but still nonetheless is holding on into position right now. But man, that 75 absolutely sliding the back end about every corner, especially on the uphill corners. That back end slides because this kart truck is very light under braking now, especially uphill, even lighter, and the thing is just sliding out so much.
Yeah, I'd get tired. I'd just say, you know what, go ahead and go. I'm so tired of trying to keep this truck under me, and I'm risk averse when it comes to road courses. I do the best I can to not make any mistakes because I'm just so afraid of making a mistake, dropping a wheel off into the grass. And here comes the 97, going to look to the left side of the 75.
And now down to the inside of drivers left on the turn 1. Ramirez slides, misses the corner. Now that allows Tammy to get the drive off, although Ramirez somehow able to stay and keep up momentum. Now into turn number 2, into the keyhole they'll go. Tammy side by side. Ramirez sends it into the corner. Tammy will try to cross over and set up the run down the back stretch. He should have it. If he can get onto the throttle, he will. Ramirez slides the back end tires. And now Tammy to driver's right of the 75 truck. Into the keep they'll go, but down the back straightaway. Ramirez, I believe, is going to give up the spot, but he might not. He might send it hard into turn number 4. He won't. Tammy holds onto the position. Ramirez gets behind, but he'll try to cross over, get behind the 97, now to driver's right, looks driver's left, won't be able to do it. The 97 up into 6th.
Yeah, wow, what an impressive battle there, and it took all 6 corners to get that pass done. Impressive stuff. Ramirez, obviously, the truck is not driving good at all, so just impressive. I mean, just drifting. You see right there around the corner is not. Oh my goodness! Just I'm sure he's ready to come down pit road and get 4 tires.
For sure. If anybody's wanting tires, it's probably Jose Ramirez in the 75. might have to hold on one more lap, though. Is the thing.
Yeah, on board, Anthony James has run up onto the back bumper of Mike Tyler, who is obviously dealing with the same issues everybody else is, currently running 132 flaps.
Remember, he spun. He spun out. That 206, he spun out on the lap 2 or 3, and so far, nothing. Tyler goes wide. I thought he was going to be pitting. Oh, no, he is going to be pitting. That wide pit entry. I forgot how wide this pit entry is. And he'll slow it down to about 45 miles an hour, I believe.
Yeah, I can't imagine how excited they are to come down and get 4 tires. Just like, oh God, thank goodness.
Yeah, and he'll be right at halfway, about 20 laps here. So Miguel Colon looking like Chase Elliott on a road course right now, absolutely dominating for lead from start to finish right now, as he's put Larry Ford a lap down, unfortunately, in 244. Who, remember, he got sent off the back bumper of the 75 Jose Ramirez. Tell you what, Thomas Fisher just getting by David Anderson into the keyhole into turn number 2 here. It looks like Fisher takes the spot away from the 78 of Anderson. And remember, Fisher is on fresher tires. He ran a 29.0, still faster than the 87 of Cologne, but right now it's really not working. Interesting development here. Davis Braun has brought it into pit road, getting service to that 24 truck. So he'll be the first. We'll probably force the hand of Miguel Colon to probably pit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Miguel is in a pretty good spot. He could do whatever he wants to. But if Davis Braun can get a lap or two, somebody has spun on pit road. I think it's JT Tommy. Yeah, spun coming into pit road.
That's going to cost him a little bit of time, and that might help Jose Ramirez be able to reel him back in, as Ramirez barely, I believe Ramirez didn't pit. Yeah, let's see. Oh, goes a little wide, gets into the grass. Nothing too much, but that's going to cost him at least 2 or 3 seconds. And we'll see right now, Tammy just getting service to his truck. Left sides are just going up, and Ramirez is going to blow by him. So Ramirez will take that spot. Tammy will unfortunately lose 1, possibly 2, although Anthony James bringing it in as well. Cologne, and the thing about Cologne is racing the 244 of Larry Ford. Larry Ford with fresher tires is racing him, and it's kind of hurt his lap time a little bit, so he'll bring it in now. Cologne now into pit road, so we'll see what this does for our leader. How will Davis Braun be able to cycle that? Can Braun get anywhere closer? And Braun barely coming up through Thunder Valley here, so we'll see where this puts the 87 or the 24 truck to the 87.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to gain that much. He's going to be maybe a second faster, and he was about 3 seconds back. So I don't think he's going to be able to take over this lead here, but we'll see.
Well, barely getting the left sides up, changing them, they go down. It's going to be close as he just leaves pit road. Braun's going to be coming up full speed into turn 1. You're on board with the 87. Cold tires, but just not going to be enough. About a second now separates the two between Cologne and Braun. Braun, good strategy. Just needed to be about another second closer, and this would be a little bit of a tougher fight here, but Cologne, fresher tires, also on cold tires, so he's got to manage this first lap, but he should be able to pull away, especially with the pace he showed earlier in this race.
Yeah, right now the leader, who has yet to make his pit stop, is Mark Nister here in his 05 machine. He started in 3rd position, just kind of been hanging out there all race long, and just going long here, trying to see if I don't know if going long, if there's really much of a strategy there, other than, hey, you're going to have the best tires going into that last run. But I mean, he was so far back that right now he's more fighting with Brett Stevens than he is with Miguel Colon or Davis Braun. So
well, if there were full course cautions, it would be maybe worth a try, but I think he'll be bringing it into pit road. The Ricky Bobby scheme will be, how about that? That's interesting looking on a truck, but he'll be bringing it into pit road, and we'll hand the lead back over to Miguel Colon in the 87. And I believe he's led all but, well, no, he might still have led that lap. So he's, I think, led about every lap, at least all but one for sure. So
yeah,
no, neither has been a lead change. So he'll keep leading and might be able to get the sweep of win the pole and lead every single lap, I think, or the Grand Slam as they call it. That wouldn't be too bad there, I believe. So Chris Hudson has brought it to Piro. So Mark Nister getting service to the number of the 05 truck should be able to beat Chris Hudson out of a pit road, and then that leaves pretty much a really, really spread out field of trucks here.
Yeah,
Tell you what, there is a battle. Mike Tyler and Jose Carrera is a battle. Although Carrera kind of blinking out a little bit, but not too bad. How about we get the all on board with Mike Tyler? See how he's doing. Got the camera with him as well, so curious to see how he's doing here. Having to fend off the 25 of Jose Carrera.
Yeah,
Oh, we got trouble ahead of him. Larry Ford has spun, and they'll get by, but the 244 goes around. Just gonna add insult to injury, and bad night going worse there for the 244, but Tyler and Carrera will pick up a spot. This is the battle for the 11th position on the racetrack, although Carrera kind of losing a little bit of time to Mike Tyler, but Mike Tyler, the lean, the focus, that's all that you want here, especially coming in one of these roads. Oh, trouble, Carrera, I believe, into the tire barriers hard.
Oh, man. What a big
and
hit.
A tough hit for the 25, a big impact into the tire barriers there for Jose Carrera. And that is unfortunately going to be night over. If there was full course yellows, that would be one. But no full course yellows here in the Champion Motorsports Truck Series. As you can see, loses the back end and a tough hit into the inside tire barriers. And that'll unfortunately probably end his night.
Yeah, that's a tough
and Mike
deal
Tyler's
there.
still driving, unfortunately. And he's still driving, so the less worry there for the 245.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it's Jose Carrera or Jose Correa.
I think it's Carrera. I don't know, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So if we say your name wrong, apologize.
Let us know. Yeah,
definitely let us know. We'd like to get it right. Yeah, I mean, Jose was pushing Mike Tyler down the straightaway there, just laying on his bumper, and was doing some good races. Oh, Miguel Colon getting really out of shape there. I don't know if you saw that, but under braking, he got a little out of shape. So
it still shows he's still pushing.
he just ran the fastest lap of the race, last lap.
That's what's crazy. He's just absolutely flying, blistering pace all night. Led every lap so far, and hasn't really made any mistakes. Not one mistake really that's costing him a bunch of times. So he's definitely cruising to a win. And who was it that won the truck? I think Corey Heim won the truck race earlier this year. Wasn't as dominant as this. Oh no, Thomas Fisher.
Yeah, Thomas Fisher
had an issue.
Yep. Let's go back and look at it here.
What happened?
Go look and see maybe if we can see what happened to him. We check the replay here, and I wonder if he's not having VR issues, because it seems like on the screen I see him looking down. He's looking frantically, looking around.
His shifter, I don't think his shifter is working. I think his shifter may have had an issue.
Yeah, you see him working with the wire there.
No, he's going now.
Trying to get it restarted, but just doesn't seem to be activating at all, and he is just sitting there on the track.
I don't think the shifter's. He is not moving into gear, I'm afraid. I don't know if it's stuck. Oh no, there we go. He's got it working now. But that's unfortunately going to move him back to 12. But yeah, like I said, that shifter is not
still not working. Yeah, he's coming to a stop.
He is still not really getting to go, and I think he's letting these guys by. But unfortunately, going to move him back to 12th. I don't know if it was stuck in gear or what happened, but back on pace for the 92. But it looked like a little bit of an issue with his shifter, and it shows even in real life, and on sim racing, the shifter can still bite you there. As Larry Ford, I believe, has had another off excursion there, so I think he might have gotten around off of turn number 14, right in front of Miguel Colon. But Miguel continuing to set a nice pace. Davis Braun, though, I'll give him credit. He's been stuck around that 3 to 4 second range this entire race. He hasn't really lost more than that, but he hasn't really gained much more than that either. So, but still, good pace out of the 24 truck. Obviously, if there were cautions in this race, he'd be hoping for one. He probably would have got one by now, but still, nonetheless, a good pace for both the 24 and the 87.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty solid race for these two. Just waiting on Miguel Colon to make a mistake. I mean, that's Davis Braun's. He definitely doesn't have the pace to keep up with Miguel, but you don't quit. I mean, if you're Kyle Busch at the Bristol Dirt Race a couple years ago and you quit and you're running third and just kind of give up, well, the two leaders get together, make contact, and they wreck. He comes by and just sneaks by with a win.
Yeah.
So if you're Davis Braun, you definitely don't have the pace to run him down. But, I mean, it doesn't take – we've seen it already. It doesn't take but one, left rear, right rear, off into the grass, and you're going for a ride. And so, we're going to have a little bit, probably as this run goes on, going to be a little bit harder on the tires. So if Miguel slips up, he's going to be there to take advantage of it. So he's going to go on to the left side of Larry Ford.
And Braun goes by past the 244. And so far, really no other trucks around each other that I can see. I think I'll tell you what, the one battle we might be able to see as this race goes on is Mark Nister and Chris Hudson. I'll tell you what, Chris Hudson, man, the pace that he's been able to set is really impressive. Obviously 20, 30 seconds behind the leader, but his pace is just as fast, as not faster, than the 87, and it makes you think what could have been if he doesn't spin out on the first lap and lose all that time. Could he have had something for the 87? Unfortunately, we'll never know, but that 43 is very, very fast, having a really, really good pace. Just unfortunately, it's going to be a night of what if for Chris Hudson.
Yeah, it's still fun, though. It's fun to have an issue early and then try to drive your way up to the front. It's always fun. I feel like in road course, it's always more fun when you have a carrot to chase. And Chris Hudson's had a lot of carrots he's been chasing the last 25 laps, and so he's continually had somebody in his windshield that he can try to run down. And so right now, Mark Nister is just the next victim for Chris Hudson, as he is likely going to get to that fourth position. I'm not sure he'll be able to run down Brett Stevens, but I mean, I bet he's had a blast, though, after that first little bit, being able to drive up through the field and had some, he's been a part of pretty much all the good racing so far tonight.
For sure, he's been on the constant attack after that one mistake, but so far, the lap times of Mark Nister, and Nister's on the freshest tire, so of course he's going to be turning the fastest laps, but I think Hudson's about even with them gains, loses, they're pretty much just trading lap times from what I can see, although a half second faster though for the 43 truck. And like I said, he is right on point with Miguel Colon, and same tires as him too, so like I said, it makes you wonder what could have been for the 43 truck. Is the 216 Anthony James having himself a nice race inside the top 10 up in 9th, kind of running down the 78 of David Anderson.
Yeah, David Anderson, had that pit stop where he took fuel only, and David was running in probably about the 13th position. And with that strategy, it's found him in that 8th spot. So David Anderson doing a little strategy call, only needing fuel, and he's been on track. He's on 27 laps in, and he's still on the first set of tires. So pretty impressive for David Anderson in that 78 machine.
Yeah, no, he has not changed his set of tires, huh?
Nope, still on the same set.
Boy.
So he's using the turtle method.
Turtle method. I mean, he's struggling, I would assume. I mean, on 28 lap tires, if he can go 40, I'll be impressed. And it makes you wonder. And I saw it earlier. Thomas Fisher, as a joke, said, if somebody can get a 0x tonight, no incidents, no going to the grass, not getting the tire off, or hitting anybody, he said, buy them a case of beer. So I don't know. Some of these gentlemen are probably trying. Maybe David Anderson's going for the no incidents because maybe he wants to enjoy him a few brewskis after this race is over.
Well, poor Larry Ford, he is not winning that that case of beer.
I'm afraid he's not.
Yeah, he is off track again. So Larry Ford slow, but we're watching the onboard with David Anderson as on 26 laps old tires. Compared to what we've seen now, he is not running lights out lap time, 131.3, but he definitely looks stable. You don't see the wheel going all over the place. He's able to keep the rear tires under him. I mean, driving a really nice pace, David Anderson is.
Yeah, he is. But although that the 216 is running him down, he's close to him. This is pretty much the only battle on the racetrack was how spread out this field and the pace that Miguel Colon and Davis Braun are running at the moment. But yeah, this is so far the closest battle, and James struggling with handling as well. Obviously, David Anderson really struggling with having not to take a set of tires so far. So I'm curious if he's going to run this thing out to the end. He also has the least amount of laps on fuel. So which soon as 78's going to have to bring it in.
I don't think so. I think if you pit on as soon as he did and take fuel only, I think he knows something that maybe the rest of us didn't. I can't imagine he's going to pit again with that type of strategy. So, even with him having less fuel than everybody else, that's going to allow him to run a little faster, even on older tires, because he doesn't have the weight of the fuel. So, I don't know. It's not a race winning strategy, but he was running 13th at one point. And is now running 8th and may end up 9th. So, not a terrible strategy, yeah.
James is looking, but just can't get anywhere. This part of the course especially, so hard to set up a pass, so hard to get a good run off, and they're all slow corners, so there's no really straightaway to carry the momentum. But James is really trying. He's got a little bit better in the braking zones, but on the exits, it looks like David Anderson's able to keep a little more momentum. And this time you can see James sense it in a little bit there, but he'll try to set up for the front stretch. And the ever so important keyhole is where all the time really made. Up in turn 1 and off in turn 2 is where you can make up the most time.
Larry Ford off again. He is just having a tough night. We stay here on this battle, though. But, Larry Ford is ready to get out of this place, I can imagine.
Are you sure he went off track? I didn't see him go off track. Oh, wait, you're right. He didn't. That was unfortunate. It's all right, though. But you know what? He'll be back next week because excited to see that we won't have any more off weeks for 4 straight weeks. We'll be racing 4 straight weeks in a row. Hopefully, I'll be able to come and broadcast next week, but might have something going on next Friday. We'll see. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to the next 4 weeks, and I believe all on ovals, so this will be the only road course race of the season, which is interesting to point out, especially since these guys really love these road courses. But I think they wanted to mainly have ovals, which I respect, and that's fine. And next week, or the next race we go to, the Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway. Always a fun track. Personally, and I say this because I really love the track, or because I'm not horrible there, is probably my favorite track is Pocono. Love Pocono. Such an awesome racetrack. Such a unique racetrack. Is here we go. The battle. Anthony James to the driver's left of David Anderson. Anderson, we're now going to have the defensive line into turn number 12 and into 13. And they'll set up out of 14 here as now James gets a run, just can't seem to hold the nose there, and David Anderson holds on to the position.
It looks like Mark Mister went off track. We'll go back and look at that real quick here. We are in a replay. Yeah, Mark Mister may have grabbed a little bit of, he's getting chased by Chris Hudson. Yeah, we'll see if we can see what happened to him right here on this replay.
Oh, that looked like the classic wheel hop, if you so will. Yeah, wheel hop into the infield, able to get going. But that mistake costing him 2 seconds, and that's allowed the 43 to catch up to him, as well as this is for battle for the 5th position inside the top 5. Battle for 4th, Hudson and Mister. And I'll tell you what, there's now a couple battles on this racetrack. Anthony James, David Anderson, and then Mister and Chris Hudson.
Yeah, Larry Ford and Thomas Fisher. So we've got battling going all over the place. We're gonna stay here on Chris Hudson as he's trying to get into that 4th position. Just as we've noted, a great drive up through the field, and that was a mistake he might have needed because Mark Mister was actually pulling away. Chris Hudson got close, but just started to lose maybe the rear tires a little bit and started to fall back. So now kind of reignited this battle that was brewing a few laps ago.
Anthony James almost got to the back end of David Anderson for this 8th position. Those guys still going at it. James has been kind of all over him right now here on the front stretch. Having a good battle so far, and this is what you like to see, having a really good battle. Now, like you said, battles starting to form all over this racetrack here as they'll go down into the short chute into the keyhole here between the 78 and 216. And unfortunately, behind him, you just saw that nose, the pink or the purple and gray nose of Miguel Colon, who was closed up onto him as well. And I'll tell you what, I believe Davis Braun had an off-track excursion. I believe he did the same thing as Mark Nister, locked up the rear tires, wheel hopped into the grass, able to keep it going, but unfortunately now 10 seconds behind the leader, Miguel Colon. But so far, nothing I mean, Cologne's pretty much on a Friday night drive. Nothing to really worry about.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to this
Tommy
battle.
Fisher, Larry Ford.
Yeah, gonna go back to this battle between Nister and Hudson. As Hudson has gotten even closer here, closest battle right at the moment, as Fisher is probably gonna get around Ford soon. But we're gonna stay here on this battle and see if Hudson can try to make something happen with just 8 laps to go. These guys have been really, really close, so we'll see if Hudson's got anything left in that 43 machine.
He definitely has the pace. Obviously, the 05 almost spinning out didn't help his case. And like you said, there's close battles all within like a car length or two all over this racetrack. Obviously, this battle is Mark Nister, the 43 Chris Hudson. Oh, Fisher rear tires almost spun into the 244 going into turn number 5, made the 244 at the lift. That's obviously the lap down battle for 11th, but still good battle, maybe a little physical. It looks like Fisher gave him a little bit of a love tap going into one of the corners. Might give him another one here into the S's.
Yeah, still on the Mark Nister and Chris Hudson battle. Is just trying to see if maybe we can see a resolution and see a position change here between these two drivers, and see if Hudson can kind of finish off this drive, because once he gets past Mark, there's nobody else.
I don't believe so. I think this will be the best that Hudson can get, and this is obviously going to be the most that he's going to be able to pass. And Nister is going to have to hold on. I don't think he wants to lose this position. Tires obviously a little bit hot in the 05, and you can see the 05 a little bit wider entry, but cuts it down, gets a diamond run, and then down off of the keyhole and then down the backstretch. Pulls away about 2 or 3 truck lengths.
Yeah, Hudson spun the tires a little bit on exit, just the worst place to do that. Trying to get just that little bit extra, and when you do that, you kind of cash in all your speed down the straightaway when you spin those tires. So he was just trying to find that little extra he needs to try to find a way to get around that 05 machine. But you know, when you're so close on times and you're not that much faster, like I said earlier, there's just not a whole lot of passing zones that you can take advantage of when you're running.
Thomas Fisher. Oh my God, Thomas Fisher goes around almost. Oh, he's trying to save it right now. Look at these guys going at it, and these guys are slipping and sliding all over each other, almost spinning, and the 92 drifting it around the corner. You know what? He's been drifting that truck all around a lot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been the most exciting, that's for sure. So he is he's going to be struggling if you did lock him up. You could see that wheel making a lot of movements in that 92 machine. But glad to see that he got his shifter taken care of, and he's back to racing.
Hudson's gotten closer to the rear bumper of the 05 of Mark Nister. So far, nothing too much here. They haven't seen too much movement out of the 05. And Hudson just seems to have a little more pace. He's just got to find a way to get around him. And if he has to get physical, he might have to.
Yeah, he just hasn't been close enough to do that. He hasn't been in range to kind of send it. Just having trouble getting off the corners, especially these big zones, like right out of the keyhole. It's a good run here. Oh, and then Mark Nister actually gets a little bit loose there. So here we go. Wow. Now he's definitely got the opportunity to use the bumper if he needs to. Actually,
he can do better of it.
Yeah, gets on the brakes a little bit to try to keep from getting into it. Excuse me. Gonna have a coffee fit here, but
no, you're all good. Please, let's not have you die live. That would be nice.
Well, I'm recovering from COVID. I had COVID last week, so
we're glad that you don't. We're glad that you don't. You passed the test, so we're good. can't get it, so we're good. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Chris Hudson's he's hounding him. That we're starting to see the 05 and Nister starting to slide around a little bit more than he probably wants to. Although the 43 also sliding around, and it seems like the 05 has better drive off, but the 43 is so much better on the brakes.
Yeah. I think if Hudson can ever get his truck under control and really focus on exits of these straightaways, he seems to be trying to really push it to run down Mark. If he can ever get the power down on a couple of these corners, he's going to have that position. It's just a matter of having that patience and waiting on that throttle and putting that egg in between your foot and the pedal. It's a good run that time.
He gains so much on the braking. He gains 1 or 2, maybe 2 or 3 car lengths, but he loses those 3 back on the straightaway, maybe even 4. but he's just so good on the brakes that he's able to kind of make up for any time that he loses on exit. Hey, look at that, just so much better on the braking zones, it seems. And Nister just gets the drive off, which I think works very much right there.
Yeah, Hudson's a lot better in the interior part of the track.
Goodness.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, he's good. He's back.
Okay, woo.
What a scare. I was going to say, I looked, and I was like, wait, where'd he go? But he's good now. Miguel Colon gave him a little bit of an internet scare there, but he's all good.
Yeah.
As he's unfortunately put the 269 Anthony James lap down.
And we'll go back to this battle. A scary moment there. Davis Braun almost popped some champagne as Miguel Colon had disappeared for probably a good 5 seconds there. So very scary moment. But man,
got loose.
Hudson is, man, he is so good through that interior portion of the track. Going into this turn 1.
Oh, man, Mr. kind of missed the corner. But I think Hudson backed off a little bit. He just doesn't get the drive off. It seems like the 43 Hudson's so much better into the braking zones, of course, but especially these tight corners, even in the carousel and the keyhole, gets a very, very good run off. And this time, able to keep about even there with the 05 there. As you see, he slides the back end out. 5 laps to go. He's going to be going hard all the way here. But my question is, I think now you just got to use up all the tires you got.
Yeah, I don't think there's any saving lift now.
Oh, no, I think you got to lay it all out on the line here.
I think both these guys are driving as hard as they possibly can at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's any holding back. I think the 05 is doing a fantastic job, I have to admit, of making sure that any passing zones are pretty much negated while he is allowing Chris to really get to his back bumper in the interior portion. The long straightaways and stuff, he has done such a good job. And he's going to have lap traffic in front of him. If he catches him at the wrong time, that could make it, kind of give an opening to Chris. So the 05, we're really going to have to pick a good spot. It's a 75 there.
Oh, Mike Tyler is going to get out of the way. Very nice of him to let these guys go on and battle. Nister just got loose off of the corner. Now this is going to allow Hudson to close up on the front stretch into turn 1. Could he mount the charge going into the keyhole is the question. Hudson's going to be very cold. Hudson's going to have a nice run. Clips the curve though. Should have a nice run. Stays about even, about 1.5 truck lengths here. Does he try to dive it into the corner? Peeks the nose to driver's left. Nister goes to cover. It seems like Nister will hold the position into the keyhole, but can he get the drive off is the question. And he looks like he does.
Yeah, just really impressed with Mark Nister. Has really shown a lot of poise where a lot of guys would get a little nervous with Hudson putting so much pressure on him. But he hasn't faltered hardly at all. Just a one slide that I've seen, and been pretty straightforward ever since.
Yeah, he's been having himself. Oh, we got trouble. JT Tammy is around.
It goes around. Well,
what happened there?
Yeah, go back and see.
Oh, was that Jose Ramirez?
Yeah, contact with Jose Ramirez. Look, they're battling for position here.
Yeah.
This is a replay, by the way. And yeah, they just. Oh my goodness.
Up, they make contact, and around goes the 97. Somehow doesn't beach it, but he's all good.
Yeah.
Fortunately, cost him a position. Ramirez goes up to 6th. I didn't even realize these guys were really that close. Unfortunate little off-track excursion for the 97. Well enough ahead. Well, maybe well enough ahead to not get lapped by Miguel Colon in the 87 truck. But here, Chris Hudson on board with Mark Nister is still just doing a good job being able to carry the momentum off the corners and not allow Hudson to gain too much, especially on the brakes. Hudson's so much better. But, oh, right there, Nister misses the corner.
There it is.
And here comes Hudson. He's going to get the spot off of the keyhole, and now Hudson takes the 4th position away. Does Nister have anything to get back at him?
He's got to run here. He's got the speed. Can he get down to the inside and get that position back?
I don't think so.
Hudson does a good job through that little
Hudson's
kink there.
Into the corner.
Yeah,
and he'll be able to keep the position. I think that might be all she wrote there for the 4th position. Chris Hudson able to get away, and now maybe a little bit of clean track ahead. Instead of Mark Nister, I'm curious to say, I think Mark Nister might have locked up that left front tire, and he just went straight into the corner. That allowed Hudson, who's been good on the brakes, to get under him to driver's right, and then went right on by, took the 4th position away, as I believe David Anderson has brought it down to pit lane.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe he miscalculated a little bit because he's coming in with 2 laps to go. Obviously, going to get
Ramirez is around off the keyhole.
Wow, these tires are definitely done for on some of these guys' truck. They are having a tough go at it at the moment. We'll go back and look, see what happened with the 75.
She on board, goes from second there down to second. Gets back in the gas, up and downhill corner, just spins the tires off the corner, and around goes the 75 of Jose Ramirez, and that allows JT Tammy to go right on by, take the 6th place position away.
Well, I don't know if Mark Nister is done just yet. I mean, 2 laps to go here, and he's still within a second. So I wonder if Mark can get back to him.
Any mistake out of Hudson, Nister will be right back, but I think maybe locking up that left front tire or that right front tire might hurt his performance flat spotting him. Hasn't let him get away. He hasn't really let him get away too much. As through the carousel and on to turn number 13 and on to 14, Miguel Colon will come out of turn 14. He will see the white flag. 1 more lap to go for Miguel Colon, trying to complete the Grand Slam. So we'll won the pole and has led every single lap this race, has not let anybody else lead. And he's looking for his 2nd win on the season and to extend his points lead over Kyle Smith. And he's looking to do it just right here tonight here in that Doncella Machine Shop Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, as he'll come out of the keyhole and down into the backstretch. We'll focus on this battle back for 4th. They have just taken the white flag from Braun as well. Braun Stevens have taken their white flag. They are 2nd and 3rd all by themselves. This battle for 4th raging on though. Nister, does he have 1 more charge left for Chris Hudson? I don't know. He's trying, but he goes off track.
Yeah, using the whole track now, so he's doing all he can. I just don't know. Yeah, oh, there it is right there. Just a complete 4-wheel slide on brake, and doesn't lose that much time, but I think that's enough.
One slow try. That's Thomas Fisher letting him. Oh, I think David Anderson might have an issue. He's run out of fuel. Thomas Fisher being a good sport and pushing him down the back stretches into turn 11, up into the carousel in turn 12, and now out of turn number 13 will come the 87 of Miguel Colon, and now into 14 and onto the front stretch. Miguel Colon will see the checkered flag, and Miguel Colon, the Grand Slam here tonight from Mid-Ohio. The 87 truck back in victory lane. Davis Braun will bring it out of the last corner to take 2nd in the number 24 truck, and then through 13 and now into 14 comes Brett Stevens, the Gateway winner, and he'll bring it home on the podium in 3rd. The battle for 4th has calmed down a little bit. Chris Hudson will be able to hold on after the mistake from the 05 of Nister. Hudson through 13 and through 14, Hudson comes home 4th, Nister in the 05 in 5th. Then JT Tammy, barely going down the back stretch, will come home in 6th. If he can hold on, as Jose Ramirez, still 1 more lap to go for them. But Miguel Colon, a dominating performance, leads 39 to the 4. Okay, maybe somebody else. Oh, and Jose Ramirez goes around in turn number 4. He's still got to finish the lap, which is the interesting thing here. But Ramirez does go around more time. Those rear tires are just, he's just waiting to bring it home as JT Tammy comes into Thunder Valley for the final time. And we'll go into turn number 11 and into turn number 12 here, so he'll go through 11 and then up into 12, and that'll round out our top sub for 6th. Ramirez will come home 7th. James will be 8th. Mike Tyler 9th. Larry Ford 10th. David Anderson unfortunately had to stop it on the racetrack and pull it off into pit road, so everybody's still bringing it home for the finish. Miguel Colon 2nd win on the season. We'll see if he burns it down, but what a race here so far. Good racing all throughout. I know it got a little bit spread out, but the battles nonetheless still good. And it's good to see these guys in their habitat, their natural habitat of racing on road courses. I know not normally in stock cars, but still nonetheless great racing all night, Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, Miguel Colon kind of stunk up the place tonight as he leads every lap, and nobody even came close. I mean, Davis Braun tried the best that he could, but Miguel Colon just in a completely different zip code, and he's going to burn them down. But you love to see that. You love to see that sometimes where a guy just comes out and is just dominant and kicks everybody's butt. I was at the Coke 600 in 2016 when Martin
Oh, Martin
Truex Jr.
Truex.
he led a 396, I believe, out of 400 laps, something crazy.
Yeah, the
And
most dominant performance in NASCAR history.
just unbelievable. So, and I was there, and I got to enjoy every lap of it, of him just
Oh yeah,
leading, and nobody even come close. So
nothing,
Miguel,
nothing like the old '78 Martin Truex Jr. Cole Pern duo, where that '78 car was always a force to be reckoned with.
yeah, just unreal that night. But
Unreal.
tonight, Miguel doing sort of his Martin Truex
Yeah,
impression,
he's
and
for keeping it on the roadside. Man, it looked like Max Verstappen out here leading every lap, letting
oh
nobody
yeah.
else take the lead.
Yeah,
But
but we had
yeah,
some really good battles. I mean, Chris Hudson able to get up into that fourth position after that early incident. I mean, we had battles all over the place. Jose Ramirez was really aggressive today. We saw Thomas Fisher dealing with some issues and obviously, having some great battles. So, while road courses can tend to get spread out tonight here in the Champion Motorsports Friday Night Truck Series, no surprise that there was a lot of fun racing and good battling going on all over the track.
oh yes, still great racing, even though Ozzy's blown the motor. But great racing all around. Champions Motorsports continues to put on great shows every week, week in and week out. Next week, we'll go to the Tricky Triangle at Pocono. That race should be interesting. Draft is going to be huge. The racing is going to be close. How about we move our third place finisher, Brett Stevens, into the booth? And let's see if I can get him in here. Brett Stevens, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you won last week or 2 weeks ago at Gateway, and you back it up here with a third place finish on the podium. Take us through what seemed to be a very calm night.
Yeah, coming into it, I figured wouldn't have quite the pace of some of those guys up towards the top, and qualified I think seventh. And yeah, on that first lap, I'm not exactly sure who all got caught up, but a couple cars ahead of me spun, so I got by them, and then I was behind Mark, and I don't know, 5, 6, 7 laps later, he had a lockup and went off, and I got by him, and really just tried to keep it on the track and keep it clean, and got a good finish out of it.
For sure, and most consistent of anybody, at least other than Miguel alone, on the ovals and road courses. And next week, a sort of oval like, but maybe the road course of all ovals, the Tricky Triangle at Pocono. How do you feel about going out there with these trucks?
I really like Pocono, and don't really get to run it that often anymore now that it's like a one time a year in the NASCAR schedule. So looking forward to running that one next week for sure.
For sure. Well, again, congratulations on on third place here tonight. But before we let you go and get off and celebrate and go to Pocono, does anybody want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, shout out to you guys. I've been enjoying the broadcast. You guys do a great job, and looking forward to watching this one. And before the race, Thomas Fisher was saying he'd give a case of beer to anybody that finished with 0 incidences, and I think me and Miguel did that. So I think he'll be
Oh,
sending me one.
okay. There we go. So maybe a 12 pack coming your way. Well, Brett,
Yeah,
congratulations here tonight on third place. We'll see you next week at Pocono.
sounds good. Thank you guys.
All right, have a good one. Brett Stevens, your third place finisher here tonight. Start seventh, up 4 spots in the third. Not a bad race from him. As Eddie Smith is caught up with our second place finisher.
Yeah, Davis Braun comes home in second place. Davis, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, I mean, you did a pretty dang good race out of you. Started on the front row. Miguel just a little bit faster than you, but you kept it close for a while, and really just hoping that Miguel would make a mistake and you were able to get in front of him. Talk a little bit about your race, what you were trying to do, what you were struggling with, and ultimately what happened that caused you to lose. You ended up about 10 seconds back from Miguel there at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Miguel drove an amazing race. I don't think there was any way I was going to keep up with him, especially that first stint being kind of closer behind until I was way back there a while and just watching the lines he was taking and the ability of him to put his truck on just certain lines and apexes. It was really incredible to watch him just handle it like a GT car. So, really happy to end up in second after that then because I'm not sure I would have been able to challenge him unless he made some mistake. But really, yeah, the whole race just trying to keep it within myself. I mean, these trucks are hard to race on a road course, let alone just even drive around them on your own. Just difficult to keep on the track. So really focusing on not missing any corners, not spinning the tires, and just staying within myself. And if that meant I ended up second, if that meant I ended up 11th, it didn't really matter. That was just sort of my goal there. I lost sight of that goal one time, I think about 10 laps to go, when I had a lap that was about 4 tenths or so faster than Miguel. The truck felt good. So tried to see, okay, let's try and get after a little bit. And that's when I just overshot it into China Beach there a little bit and got off the track and set myself about 10 seconds back to Miguel. So reverted to the initial thought process after that, but just real hard racing. After about 10 laps or so, I really struggled with the front end and getting the truck to turn, which was new to me. Kind of was loose usually in practice, but otherwise, really fantastic race. I mean, got to thank David and everyone at CMS for this competition and hosting this. That was a lot of fun. And as I just told him, I got to thank JT Tammy for still being my friend on iRacing, so I could find out about this league. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, there you have it. A great second place run by Davis Braun. Congratulations, my friend. Go celebrate, and hopefully we'll be talking to you next week at Pocono.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
And that's your second place finisher, Davis Braun, in the number 24 truck. Good race from him. Starts in second, brings it home in second. And that'll move us on to our winner here tonight, Miguel Colon. You got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy, guys.
Well, man, you come on the road course, you look like Max Verstappen leading all but one lap here tonight. Take us through what seemed to be just a Friday night drive.
Well, I would say I enjoyed today. I had a couple of beers with me, old style. But I would say fun track. This truck's very harmful to drive in this type of condition, especially in road course, which make it very difficult. Like you have to be easy on the gas, treat it very gentle. Your steering input has to be, very touchy. So I think we brought our road skills here today. It pay off.
It seemed like they do. And next week, you've been really fast in the ovals, obviously really fast and comfortable on the road courses. Next week, we go to the Tricky Triangle at Pocono. How do you feel about going out there?
Well, let's see. Pocono is a very big track, so draft is gonna play a lot of role in that track. So I think it could be anybody's game at that track as long as everybody is able to keep up with the draft in the group in front.
For sure. Obviously, you keep the points in and even extend it over Kyle Smith for next week in Pocono. And before I let you go celebrate, is everybody you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Well, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Finally, we got the paint scheme with our sponsor in the truck. What a way to celebrate our first win with the updated paint scheme with the sponsor on it, with the Don't Sell Your Machine Shop, and also our communities in Racing PR. I also want to give thanks to Davis and the whole community of CMS for putting this together and have fun on Fridays,
For sure. Well, again, congratulations, Miguel. Your winner tonight here from Mid-Ohio. Miguel, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You guys as well.
We'll see you. Miguel Colon, your points leader and your race winner here tonight, extending the points lead in the next week when we go to the Tricky Triangle in Pocono, Pennsylvania. Any closing thoughts before we head off to the Pocono Mountains there, Eddie?
Yeah, we'll just kind of go through the race results real quick. We talked to the top three, but Chris Hudson does a great drive back to fourth position. Mark Nister battled hard, really fought hard with trying to keep Hudson behind him, and but not able to hold him off. But comes home with a top five. That's very impressive. Great drive out of him. JT Tommy comes home in sixth. Jose Ramirez, been all over the place, slip, sliding all around, driving off into the grass, and comes home with a seventh place. Very impressive, and stays on the lead lap. So a great drive by him. Anthony James comes home in eighth. Mike Tyler in the ninth position. Larry Ford comes home with a top 10. That's a great drive by him as well. David Anderson in 11th. Had some issues there where it had to get pushed by Thomas Fisher, who also had issues. Like you said, mechanical issues can happen even on virtual racing. And Jose Correa comes home in 13th. And Jacques Richard started 14th. Finished 14th, 27 laps down, ended his night early. So.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, what a night! What a night! Great racing all around as the champion Motorsports Truck Series continues to always put on. As next week we'll go to the Tricky Triangle out in Pocono, which should be a barn burner of a race. These guys always put on great shows. But I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors here tonight. IRTES, powered by Champions Motorsports, the Champion Circle, as well with the premium VIP Discord with great perks and special benefits, and of course the Storm Gang, Storm Gang Simulations, the own in-house top level of moddings for R Factor, and being a member of CMS, the Champions Motorsports Group, you can get exclusive offers to enjoy their racing content. So of course, and if you enjoyed here tonight, remember to like and hit that subscribe button here for V-Speed here on V-Speed 2. Go and subscribe to V-Speed, our regular channel, and of course V-Speed, it was a Racing Network or V-Speed Network as well for all of our updates, all our contents, and of course on social media at V-Speed Sim. So you get all our updates for all our racing series broadcasting. I know in a few weeks, a couple other racing series will come out, especially Tuesday nights. The Below the Double Yellow racing series will kick off for the Clash at Daytona, and one of our sponsors here tonight as well. So, again, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you for watching. We appreciate all your support. It's been an awesome race, an awesome season so far. Congrats to Miguel Colon. And again, thank you, Eddie, for coming alongside me and doing our production as well as Bradley Cooper, who does great stuff as well for other leagues, and of course Adam Baker, the man of V-Speed himself. So thank you all for watching. Remember, stay tuned to all our social media pages. Subscribe, like if you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and like all our other channels. And a thank you to all of those who are working here with us in V-Speed. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next week at Pocono.